All right. Do apologize about that. Y'all might have heard something. I was listening to the Osei Duke Jackson channel, one of my favorite guys to listen to. He's pretty much hit looking at something, and I wanted to go over something else. I was mainly to talk about it, but I like to watch other YouTubers and see what they're doing and actually implementing what they talk about. Some actually walk in what they say, and some don't. I watch people in my everyday life, and also in the tellings of what people have to say about their everyday struggles. One of the things about it I want to speak to Black people about is we need to find mentors. And when I say we need to find mentors, we need to find people that we can actually look at their model of what they're doing. And if they're doing exactly what they say that they're going to do, or they're actually walking um, in that type of performance. Like my father would always say he gets up early, gets his coffee, and goes to work. And as long as he's on time, then he's there's some saying that he have. But the thing about it is, other door. The thing about it, I wanted to say is that for Black men, that we got to understand that you got to practice in what you preach. If you're going to say something, especially for the women too, if you're going to say something or have some type of values that you're walking by, you need to walk in that. You actually need to actually be about what you're saying. I think that's the biggest issue that we're seeing, especially going on in the Black community, is a lot of people are saying things. You hear a lot of, you know, protesting and civil rights movements and different other people walking in different closets and beliefs and activists. But the problem is that you don't see a lot of them actually living up or actually going by the standards that they are actually trying to tell everybody that they need to be accountable for. And because that's not happening, we're hitting with the skin hitting the pavement, because you're not actually seeing these guys. Like, you're hearing Black men talk about how to get mates, but they don't have a successful relationship. You're seeing women tell other women on how to treat their man, but yet they have not been able to keep a plausible relationship for over 7 years. When you start to see those type of talking points, not even just in relationship, but when you see, you'll see guys talk about being pro-Black. I got nothing against you saying you want to be pro-Black, but if you're going to be pro-Black, there's two different types of pro-Blacks. There's the methods and the mentality of wanting to see the future, the economic growth and endurement of Black people. And then there's the actual practice of being pro-Black, when in which you're actually practicing pro-Black methods, lifestyle, family values. You can't mix. There's two different pro-Blacks. Not no new. Well, as long as you have a white woman or you got a white man, you can still be yeah, you can have pro-Black beliefs. I got nothing against you. But see, that's the problem that's the I would want to say so much as the uncertainty, and also the infrastructure, where that's where the infrastructure goes wrong with Black people. We're saying one thing, but a lot of us ain't doing what we're saying. I can't tell you stuff about being a mentor if I'm not out there trying to mentor. I can't tell you things about, hey, how to get over some type of addiction, or how to get your money right, or how to go about doing your VA, if I have not done that, and if I'm not actually doing that now. That is the big issue that we're seeing in the Black community. A lot of people are talking about stuff and they're speaking on it, but they're not actually practicing what they preach. And because they're not, that is where you're going wrong. It's like when a child sees their parent tell them, listen, don't smoke cigarettes. But then you'll see the same parent spark up a cigarette. Then they'll say, well, do as I say, not as I do. Then why did you say it? Then why did you tell me that I need to be held accountable for something, but if you're not going to be accountable? You see, that is where we start to question your judgment. That's where we start to look at you like you're not living up to your required agreement, but yet you want to be the voice and speak for us. And this is a big issue we're seeing for a lot of blacks, especially a lot of males. This is why the role models in the black community are falling short. I can't get mad at a black boy if he takes leadership from anybody else, because if there's no black role models in the black community, can you really fault that black boy from going to listening to a black woman, a white man, a teacher, anybody who's willing to mentor that child? See, that's one thing about kids. Kids look for somebody to give them the proper guidance on their path to life. That is why when y'all look at a lot of these kids, like, why are these kids so bad? Because somebody took them under their wing. How you doing, Latricia? Thank you for joining us. You can't get mad at somebody if they're taking under some type of mentorship, whether you agree with it or not, but you want to mentor them, but you're not actually doing as you say. The dope boy is actually bringing in income, has people respecting him, and actually has an assortment system that you may not agree with, but the boy may see that and say, wow, he has people respecting him. He has a system. He has some type of methods of how he's generating income. And I want that. When the child sees that, they'll get behind that and say, hey, that's what I want to do. When a girl is growing up and she has insecurities, but sees a girl who is out there being promiscuous, and I'm not throwing no shade towards any females who do that, but they see that one female out there being promiscuous, men are gawking at her, she's getting that mad type of respect and type of pleasure from people, then guess what? That girl's going to aim to be just like that female or follow some type of suit behind that woman. This is why it's hard to reach a lot of youth nowadays, because you're not doing what you say you're doing. You're not actually implementing the belief system that you want us to practice and follow behind. So can you honestly come at us? What's going on, guys? Thank y'all for joining me on the channel. I'm just doing a live recording right now. I just want to knock this out because I feel like when y'all listen to a lot of these people with platforms, I want you to start asking the question, are you doing what you say you're doing? Are you being consistent? Have you followed by your own teachings? And if you fall short, how do you get back up and get back on the same track? If you're not asking those types of questions, and please, if you got to rewind it and go look at other people's channels. I don't mind shedding my skin and showing you that, hey, I've had some infractions. I have fallen short. I have come up short in my relationship, with my wife. I have come up short with my children. I have had many faults, but what I do in that critical time as a man to get myself back on track, that defines me as a black man. So then when I actually use those talking points to say, hey, I know what it's like to be up here and then fall short down here. I know what it's like to be without a job and go out there and bust my behind to go look for jobs. I know what it's like to go out there and be on some type of addiction. Then actually to wean yourself off and get the proper treatment and help for the addiction. I can speak from different talking points because I have fallen short plenty of times, but nevertheless, I have found my way to get back on. That is why it's not so hard for me to mentor people. This is the thing that you as black men and women need to look at. You need to look at people who are actually doing and implementing what they're saying. If it's a beautiful female, but yet she's showing you that, listen, I don't count on my beauty to only do what I'm saying. I actually use my brain. Follow behind that woman and see how she's doing what she's doing. If you see a brother who's out there working and he is never without a dime, and even if he gets laid off, he has a second trade skill. Brothers, you need to run behind that man's coattail and find out how is he being successful. This is something that we need to start to implement. We worry about, hey, how can I find the most prettiest and shiniest penny? But see, understand this. The penny that actually goes out there, it can exchange in different drawers and hands. And actually, it starts to wear and gets different types of skin and coating on it and oxidizing because it has time and season under it. What you need to understand, brothers, is you are a penny. You need to start exchanging and getting out there and networking and seeing other brothers who are doing what they say they're doing. This is not an easy task to do, but I'm telling you, it is very worth your while. Same thing for us. Same thing for women. Women, find a woman who is actually living by the standards that she set. Find a woman who is living by the standards she set. Because what that tells you is, despite how that man is, despite how society is, that woman's core values of how she needs to be as a woman has yet wavered. That speaks on her character. A lot of people, we tend to forget that people have characteristics. I can respect Dr. King, even though he stepped out of his marriage and did wrong. He still understood that, hey, the cause that I'm speaking on about us needing to be equal and be treated fairly under the law, he was for that. He wanted equal pay. He wanted different stuff. So because that was his method, and he understood that, hey, y'all can call out my frailties and my issue. And that's why Coretta stuck by him. Because she said, you know what? I don't agree with what the man is doing. However, I will say this. He is following behind a cause, and he is doing what he says he needs to be doing. And as long as he's doing that, I will get behind this man. I will support him. I don't like what he's doing. And you see, that's the thing about it that some of y'all really don't really get to see. To follow the right path is not always the easy path. Let me say that again. To follow the right path is not necessarily always the easy path. You're going to get judged. True. But we should be able to look at any good role model, no matter the color of the skin, the more yeah, no, I agree with you, Latricia. I agree with you. Listen, all my mentors were not black. White, Arab, Indian, anybody who was living by and practicing what they preach, and they actually were showing success, even in the midst of failure, I was willing to go under them and follow by their tutorship. Why? Because I understood one thing. He was living by his own word. And you see, why do you think people get behind? Why do you think people get behind people like them? Because the thing about it is they see that, yo, he's not talk. He walks the walk. And somebody who walks the walk, you have to have some type of respect for that. This, I think the big issue, it will go, especially in our community, especially for black people, y'all stop following because a black person says something, but then when they fall up short, you don't hold them accountable. That's not a good mentor. A good mentor, even when they fall short, understand that, listen, I fell short on my watch. I need to pick up and get myself together and do what I need to do. That is what it means to be a mentor. Not to say that they should be doing it on purpose, not to say that they should keep on backsliding, because if they're backsliding purposely, then that's not a mentor you want to get behind. Character is the person that whether people are watching them, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, even in the midst of no type of audience or visualization. They're still out there doing what they need to be doing. I respect brothers like O'Shea because he's out there in a foreign country, not of his own, around people, and he's still putting in 100%, going to school, making a living for himself, educating other brothers on how they can do it too. I can respect a young man like that. I can respect the man of tomorrow, but he's out there running his own company. I can respect a woman who's out there, regardless of whether she has a mate or not, and is still being successful in her own right. I can respect people like that. Why? Because they are actually doing what they say they are doing. Not because people are telling them to do it, but because they choose to do it. And when you get to that mentality that whether people watch me, whether people accept me, I'm going to do it, that right there shows character. And the problem with it is we have not seen a lot of character in our community, in our family, and amongst our friends. So we choose to accept the low bar standard. Not saying everyone, but we got to admit, this is why I don't understand. Back then, if black people were given a platform to go speak to somebody with authority, to go show that, hey, we want to be accountable, we want charge, they would take it. They would go do it. I don't understand. A lot of you black men got mad at Kanye West for seeing the president. Rather than get behind him and say, listen, let us put together a formulated plan so that way we can show the future generation that, hey, us as black men can come together and show that we, rather than sit by the sidelines and let other people dictate us. And you see, that's the problem when you're not actually following by what you preach. Other people can dictate your actions. Other people can sway your judgment and what you need to do to actually be successful and actually a cordial person in society. When you're not doing what you practice, what you're preaching, people don't get behind you. People don't respect you. It gets very tricky and very sloppy. This is why I tell a lot of you brothers, listen, man, be consistent. Be consistent. If you're not consistent, the society will easily cast you aside. If you are not about what you say you're going to do, no woman will take you seriously. Because they know that you're just talking it, but you're not going to actually do it. This is why now a lot of women are saying, black men, you ain't shit. Because you talk a good game, but you're not following through with your stroke. And because you're not, it's hard to take you serious. A lot of my friends that I associate with, I call them my friend because I know that they are accountable. I can look towards them to do what they say they're going to do. And if they cannot do it, they fall back and say, hey, I can't do it. As a father, you got to understand your child and that woman are looking for you to be the follow through in whatever you say you're going to do. As a father, that is one of the main jobs as a man. Whether your household likes you or not, I ain't gonna say respect you, but if they need to respect you, they will respect you if you're doing what you need to be doing. Same for a woman. Your job is already plentiful, but you as a woman, you need to step through in whatever you say you're going to do. Whatever, even if the man says, listen, I'm not going to be with you. You know what? I don't want to be with this family. Are you as a woman going to follow through and still take care of your family, even if that man walks out? See, when you say and do that, your children look to you and say, you know what? Despite whatever dad did, mom stuck it out. And I can appreciate that. Y'all can get mad and say whatever you got to say about me making a comment, but shit, I've been there. My dad walked out on us. When he started getting a certain type of way, he walked out. He wasn't my dad. My mom, she had her slump, but she understood one thing. She had a 13-year-old son and a 16-year-old son that needed her. So she knew that, yo, I don't have time to pity myself. I got to get out there and do what I need to do. It's not an easy walk. I'm going to tell you right now. And y'all can't, after so long, y'all can't just, it's not about color. Once you get to a certain point, color is going to become pretty much, it does not matter. Because honestly, if you get to a job and if the black guy's not doing what he says he's doing, do you honestly discount the white guy or that female who's doing what they're supposed to be doing? Do you discount their experience? Or do you say, hey, can you teach me and show me how I can do this properly so that way I can succeed and get better at what I'm doing? Just a thought. But you can follow through and check on it yourself. Again, this is Joe from Black Male Talk, BMT2 Unfiltered. We thank you for, watching, and pretty much like the video, share the video, support. Peace.